来台湾已经1年半多一点啊。对，然后他一直都你住在台北市，可是新北是在新北，所以所以我以为你住在新店。
我
very close to 新店。永和哦，永和 very far away from 新店。一个在永。
Not really. If you try to take the MRT.
So mainly right now you photograph 新店 right?
Yes.
Okay. 好，所以我就觉得很有趣哈，就说from Germany right， 从德国到台湾来拍新店哈，你也拍其他国家嘛？我也看到了，你拍非洲，索马里。
对，
中
Somalia。
OK， 所以他也拍了其他地方，然后到台湾来拍台湾哈，所以我想这是一个很好的例子，可以让我们去思考说，为什么有人要来拍台湾，那为什么我们老是要去拍国外？好，我们欢迎 Chris。
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm sorry, my Chinese is, I would say, really bad, but for sure not good enough to speak here in Chinese, because then I would be like a 3-year-old child trying to present something that's not good, maybe. Well, thank you to everyone who came here today. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you to a couple of other people who gave me the opportunity to take photos in Taiwan. That is, for example, the Xinjiang District Museum, who provided me with a lot of information, and that is. That is, for example, Wu Zhenhui. That is the village mayor of a place called Heping.
Mayor or 里长，市长或里长。
He told me I'm the village mayor. Heping. That is this rather foggy place, and this is the way I came across it. I have my background in street photography, but at one point I thought, well, I don't know, I want to do something different. And there was this situation when I was sitting inside a family mart. It was raining outside, and I saw this. And I thought, well, this is kind of strange. This is not the usual. I mean, usually things look a bit different sometimes. So yeah, I came across this place. It's called Heping. It's a small village in Xinjiang district. Yeah, there it is.
新店和平村。
If somebody knows it here, then I would be a little bit surprised because it's really
close Bitan, right?
Yeah, that's
Where is Bitan?
Bitan is in the. I mean, this is the river, the Xinjiang River. This is towards Taipei. There is Bitan. Must be somewhere there.
Okay.
And so this place is a little bit in the middle of nowhere. And I mean, we're really just talking about this tiny little thing here.
I thought the whole area.
the whole area. What is the whole area? The whole area is this. I mean, this whole foreground, and I really didn't know what that is at first.
所以你可以看到，它就是前景跟后景的这个对比。
So at first, I was just interested in what is this place, and I wanted to know a little bit more about it. What I found out about Heping, it is a small village that had been moved to its location in 1962. Before 1962, the people who live in Heping, they used to live right at the bank of the river. but their homes were destroyed during a typhoon and during a flood. So the village was moved there. The land is owned by a family that was introduced to me as quite an rich and influential family, and the whole area is under redevelopment. So while finding out these things, I asked myself, okay, is there some kind of story that could be told by means of documentary photography? Is it maybe about modernization, about gentrification, about something about the old Taiwan inside something like in the new Taiwan?
我可能要解释一下 ，OK， 他刚刚讲说 ，OK，Can we go back?
Yeah,
I have to
sure.
explain a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
OK， 他想要谈，就是从这个作品里面，他想谈现代化跟 gentrification 是阶层化，
晋升，
晋升。对，我觉得这翻译是有点奇怪。
就是说，一个地方它可能本来它的组成是某一个社会阶层，可是因为地价跟人口组成的改变，它整个地价跟文化的水平跟着提升，然后就可能会变贵，然后原本的那些人口就必须要移到别的地方。
哦，
生活区或搬迁。
对 ，We are talking about the meaning of
Yeah,
gentrification.
I know it's a little bit. I mean, maybe the photos show it a little bit. I mean, this would be my aim eventually.
Yes.
Just when I came here today, at my MRT station, I saw this one. I took it with my shaky hand and with my phone camera. So this is a horrible photo.
It's okay.
But this is actually an ad.
新店
Yeah, this is an ad
The
for
future 新店
exactly. And you are supposed to move into one of these big buildings that are supposed to replace the thing where it should be. It's actually there. There it is. It's on this photo. So, yeah, I asked myself, okay, is there some story to it? And then I started going there. And I mean, why did I do that in the first place? I mean, street photography is kind of fun. You walk around, you take photos, and at the end of the day, maybe you have one or two good ones. But what I missed a little bit was, I wanted to establish some kind of stronger relation with the subject. When doing street photography, you took photos of people, and then they're gone, or maybe they realize you, and that's it. But it always feels a little bit like you're exploiting people for your own photos, and I wanted to see if I can have some kind of stronger relation to a subject. I wanted to focus more on details, on work a little bit slower, take different kinds of photos, think about how can I put things into the frame. And I also wanted to work on some kind of story, not just a photo here, a photo there, but something that comes together as a project. So, this is how I started. This is.
有没有人听不懂？可以哈，可以继续了。
Once again, sorry, my Chinese is horrible. I can just say, I can order food and stuff. Just introduce myself maybe. 我喜欢拍照。Okay. Okay. So I went there clearly as a street photographer, and but I mean it's a very close place, and I'm very visible there.
Yeah.
Everybody knows I'm there. I'm taking photos.
So what's the year?
On the left one, somebody is repairing something. I don't know exactly what it's doing.
Which year?
That was last year.
Last year.
Last year. I mean, the situation has not changed that much in that place. Most of the photos were taken last year. I am not very productive at the moment. It is an unfinished project, and I came across a couple of problems during this project and a couple of crises, and I will not present this as a finished project, but we will also talk about, I will talk about a crisis. I would not present a finished project like this, but I will tell you everything that.
You mean this project or the Herping project?
This
is Herping.
this isn't Herping.
Oh, this is Herping. Okay.
Yeah, and all the things that went wrong and all the things that I'm not happy with, I will tell.
他说他现在正在进行这个计划，然后这边有完整的计划，可是他还是愿意拿出来讨论。他说他现在面临的一些可能有些危机，然后他想跟大家讨论一下他的一些感受。
But like I said, I try to establish a little bit more of a connection to people. Talk to people. People there kind of know what I'm doing there, and they allow me to take photos.
So do you go there alone or somebody with you?
Depends. Sometimes alone, sometimes not alone. So it depends. Yeah, but I wanted to establish some kind of mutual comfort. They are comfortable if I'm around. I'm comfortable being there. So I try to take more personal photos of people. Something I also tried was having some kind of aesthetic that combines the photos, not just a photo here, a photo there, but something that finding some kind of aesthetic that connects the photos and that maybe allow me to call it some kind of a body of photos that belongs together.
对，他刚讲说，他就是在拍的时候，并不是说这边看到这个拍那个，这个看到那个拍那个，而是说他想要借由这边建立一种美学的关系 ，aesthetic 美学的关系，我就翻译成美学哈，你不就知道我不喜欢翻译成敏感。
Yeah, and also I try to I don't know what this is. I try to expand my photography a little bit. I said I wanted to focus on details, but I also try to see something that might not be so striking, but see something and think about how can I make this part of some kind of story.
他说看到的东西可能不会，也就是看的时候可能不会觉得好像很震惊，或是很特别这样。可是他就想看看他可以建立一个什么样的关系，从画面。
So yeah, and I try to find combining elements. In the case of this village, there is construction going on around the village, and that will slowly move into the village and eventually it will disappear. So this is, I'm trying to find something that tells the story of a village that's changing its character and that is eventually not going to be there at the end of
所以他就会把周遭的都拍到一起，然后来看他这个村子慢慢的变化，那可能终究这个村子就会因为这样的建设而改变了，就会不见了。
Yeah, and I try to find things that, for example, symbolize something I want to tell. Around this village there are lots of dogs, for example. And there are street dogs, which can be quite aggressive. These ones, I never seen such aggressive street dogs in Taiwan. But then people also have their domestic dogs, and so it's an interesting difference between more of a natural, more of a traditional situation and very modern and domesticated and cultural and in a way civilized situation. And I try to find out these symbols and how they are changing over time. Yeah. Now I promised you that I will tell you about the things that are the things that are not going so good. or that are difficult, that I have to deal with. I said at the beginning, I'm trying to, I longed for some kind of relation to my subject. Well, my Chinese is still terrible. It's not exactly easy. And I think it's not just because my Chinese is terrible. I think it would be the same everywhere. Why am I the documentary photographer, the one who goes there and takes photos of those people? I mean, we are living in times when everybody takes photos all the time, and oftentimes when talking about documentary photography, what are documentary photographers doing? They're telling something important. They're giving some kind of visual agency to a story that an audience wouldn't know about. I'm going to a place where normal people live and they take photos of their kids, they take photos of their new scooter, they are taking photos all the time. So why am I doing that? I still don't really have a great answer for that, because the visual agency argument, I'm not convinced by that. So I think the subject of what I'm doing is not so much just this village and the people there, but it's also kind of my own experience. My own experience of being in this strange situation that I'm definitely not from there, and I'm taking photos of something that is very, very normal. That is not, I mean, there's no apparent reason for a German documentary.
So you're criticizing your own work?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I mean, I asked myself, why am I doing this? I'm trying to make it better.
Okay,
So,
I have to explain this to you.
Yeah, I know.
有没有人看不懂的？他现在就在问他自己。
解释。
对对对，他就是他认为他的危机就是因为他会自我反省，也就是说他为什么他会问说，我为什么拍这个，我为什么做这件事？我想大家应该都会问到这样的问题嘛，好，所以他的问题，这个就是说他跟他的拍摄对象的关系是什么？他为什么要拍这个地方，或者跟他们到底是什么关系？为什么拍他们，对不对？好，这是应该是作为一个，尤其作为一个记录摄影家，应该会问自己这个问题了然后呢，他说我为什么是一个记录摄影家？然后呢，那你为什么不去做别的事？为什么要做这件事？你为什么做这件事？你到底对你自己，或是对你自己有什么意义，或是更大的一个问题，或是对这个世界或对这个社会有什么意义，对不对？为什么你要做一个记录摄影家？好，然后他说他是不是给一种visual agency， 给任何人这种 visual agency， 这个有点难解释，你要不要解释一下？来，agency 什么意思
？I'm happy that I don't have to translate.
It's very difficult to translate.
Yeah, I know.
Visual agency.
I don't know what to call that in German. For example, visual agency is.
Yeah. Do you think that it's a positive term, right? Visual agency.
I mean,
yes.
visual. I mean, I read the term, for example, when it was about projects that people did in South Africa during the apartheid regime there. So there were people who were living under political oppression, and somebody told their story, and there was not a lot of international pressure at the end, and so it was like, okay, you are living in a terrible situation. The world should know. Eventually, the world knew, and things changed.
Yeah.
So great, but that's not the situation here.
So are you questioning why you are the storyteller?
Why? Yeah. Yeah.
对，他就说，因为和平没有什么大事件啊，没有什么灾难啊，也不是什么重点啊，那他为什么拍这里？为什么在这里做记录摄影？好，那 visual agency 应该找董玉今天念社会学的应该来。agency 就是说，应该它是一个等于是你是一个媒介不是媒介了，就是你有什么样，比如说他讲的故事。 那我这个说故事的人就是一个 agency 啊，可是
中
中介对，可是这个 agency 也不是一般就只是重复别人的故事，不是，而是它必须应该是有一个能动性，或是它能够有自主性，能够思考的才叫 agency。OK， 我知道了解是这种情况，因为它现在比较社会学的概念，所以它不是说我只要拿着照相机去拍照，然后我就是一个 visual agency，OK， 而是你要有想法，那你要有自主的想法，而不是说只是老板叫你去拍啊，你要，而且你到底要讲什么，你要很清楚啊，这些应该是一个 visual agency 的一些背景概念。好，那他说是不是我拍摄的对象是任何人，而不是我自己的经验？意思就是说，他是不是可以就是拿着这样去拍人家在家里不晓得干什么事，反正我就是为了去拍和平就拍和平，而跟他自己是不相干的，不是来自于他自己的经验，这样了解吧？我们常常是很多人是拍照是没有他自己的经验的哦，好，没有他自己的那个特性，或是他为什么观察这个地方，为什么拍这个地方，很多的照片里面是完全没有显示这些东西的。好，所以他有在思考这个，就是说他不是说只是拿着相机，然后跑到和平去，然后就拍，拍，然后就说我是报道摄影家啊，台湾这些人太多了啊，而是呢，他有在思考说，那这些我怎么去拍照的这个事情，怎么变成是他自己的感受，他自己的经验，对不对？那拍出来的东西才会有你自己的那个这个 experience。其实 experience 这个概念呢，在艺术教育，在艺术史里面都是很重要的。可是我们台湾比较没有人在讲，哦，因为我们台湾就很喜欢，就是你拍什么我跟着你拍什么这样，完全没有自己的经验，哦，所以这个 experience 是很重要的一个概念，就是说你要有你自己的看法，你自己的想法，你自己的经验要放进去。Okay, we can go on.
Okay, thank you for the translation of this of my unclear.
I think this is a very good example. Yeah. Okay, 上面红案的，谢谢。
Yeah, I mean, adding to that, I'm thinking about, for example, we typically until maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I don't know, in the time when documentary photography was, if we think of documentary photography, we think of certain photographers who probably did something great 30, 40, 50 years ago. At that time, there were, if there was no photographer, there would be no photos of something. And so these photos, maybe they contribute to our knowledge about cultures, sometimes of the understanding of ourselves, of the understanding of the world, of everything. In times when in a place like Hipping, everybody's taking photos all the time, like everywhere in the world.
You mean
people,
outsider or the visitor?
No, people. How many photos have you taken today with your phone or something? That's not really.
But not helping. But not at the helping.
Yeah,
right?
no, just like normal people taking photos of their children.
Yeah, right.
Taking photos. The people who I take photos of, they are taking photos of each other themselves because people are taking photos.
Yes.
Everything ends up on Instagram or Facebook or whatever.
他说现在太多人在拍照，太多人每天都在拍照。Okay,
so in a sense, in 30, 40, 50 years ago, there will be lots of photography from that place. But then the question is, will that be available? Is that something that can contribute to our understanding of the past?
对，他说，因为他拍照太容易，太多人每天在拍照，所以他在思考说，我们到底那么拍照摄影这件事情，可不可以增加我们对文化的了解，或者对于彼此的了解？这是他在思考的问题。
And now, if we think that, maybe nobody will ever look at the Instagram photos
Right.
from 50
Too
years
many.
ago.
Yeah.
I mean, but then, will anybody look at the photo projects from 50 years ago that are maybe also on Insta, or that are, I mean, or will the role of documentary photography change radically?
对，他在想说，那记录摄影家的角色是不是很应该就是是不是已经剧烈的改变，就是跟过去已经不一样。对。
So the question is.
因为现在太多的大家容易拍到照片，你看网络上太多照片，这就是我说为什么现在都不上脸书，因为真看不完。
So I mean, the question I ask myself is, can I or can the documentary photographer create some kind of narrative that that somehow is different from just the constant stream of photos?
So your concept of narrative is different with story.
I mean, a story would, first of all, I thought, okay, I will find a story. But then, yeah, well, there is some, I can tell you about this place and that there is redevelopment, and that's maybe the story. But the narrative would be more what I make of the story. I mean, there are.
OK， 他在讲说 story 故事，跟那个 narrative 是不一样，他认为是不一样的概念。我们台湾认为是一样，很多人认为是一样。好，他认为故事就是一般的，你说比如说拍流水照啊，或者就是要拍很多照片那个，都就是 story， 就是讲的故事。可他认为说 narrative 是一种叙事，我们台湾翻译成叙事，叙事应该是更有组织的，或是更有一个概念在里面，是不是这样？来，你要不要补充一下？你会笑的人就要补充。
他意思应该他去发掘 story， 然后如果他要再重新讲出这个 story， 他一定要加进自己的
narrative， 是这样吗？
我的理解是这样。
We are talking about the difference between story and narrative.
You mean that after you find the stories, you can avoid the consequence that when next time when you are about to tell another people about this story, you will add up your narrative into this story, and so you could so that you can tell the other one that they understanding this story from you, so they also receive the narrative from you.
I mean, if I tell the story, it is always the story how I tell it, right? Yeah. So it's always the narrative. But I mean, I had to find out that there's a lot happening between me and the place, and that it's really maybe somebody who goes there and who's from Taiwan and who's more familiar with the situation and who fits in better would tell the story, would do such a project completely different. Maybe. I don't know. But I try to think about how do I tell the story, and how do I tell the story in a certain way because of my role as the person as the person who's clearly not from that village. I mean, quite often people do projects on a very familiar environment. I don't do that because I just came here 1.5 years ago. So, but I think that really changes the relation.
因为他说他是外国人来的，他不是住在这个村子里面的，所以他的角色会不一样。然后他要去思考他的角色的时候，他是从这些切入点，他问他自己这些问题。
That's why you say justice.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say justice to Heping, but how can I? I mean, I don't want to leave the place one day and say, okay, I just used it for my own little experience or my very own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and these are things that I'm not really sure about, but
You don't have answer.
No.
Nobody has answer.
No, but I mean, I'm thinking about that, and I don't think that I'm the only photographer who's thinking about that.
Yes. Right. Yeah. 所以这是我觉得蛮好的例子哈，因为你就是真的要思考一些问题，所以我常常讲，就是说，有些作品有在思考问题，有些作品完全没在思考问题，这有时候是很容易看出来。Okay.
Yeah, I mean this is basically what I have. Usually there should be another one that says thank you, but I'm saying thank you for listening to what I'm doing, and thank you for.
So how can you do justice to helping? You mean in photography?
I don't know. I mean, first of all, I don't know. So this is also the reason why I'm not very productive at the moment, I guess.
Well, what compels you to take photographs? You can just do nothing, right? But what makes you want to go out and take photographs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm afraid. I mean, in a way, I want to be a photographer. I want to take photos. I think it's very rewarding to put things you see in a visual narrative.
So what if you go to a place and you're not really interested in the place? Do you feel like you still have to take fake photos because you're a photographer? So there must be something that interests you, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that would be the reason to justify you taking pictures.
Yeah, I mean, if you say, okay, I mean, I feel free to answer the question, what interests you of the place? I think for me it's very interesting that, you know, I came to this place, as I said many times, 1.5 years ago, and I know that Taiwan has changed a lot over the last many years, but very fast. And I think it's really interesting to find a place where you can find, you know, this constant development, in a sense, in a nutshell. This whole place.
他说他选择台湾，就是因为他发现台湾变化很大，一直在变。
I mean, there is my computer is slow. Sorry. This is. I mean, everywhere in Taiwan you find buildings like these ones that are mostly built in between 1962 in this case and maybe 1970 or something. But here it's interesting because it's really isolated. It's, you know, it's not far away, but it's like if you want to go there, you have to pass by all these fences, and that really gives you a feeling like, okay, there's a clear distinction between the modern city around and this place. And now things are gradually changing, and I think that is very interesting for me to see and to observe this kind of development. This is what attracts me about it. I'm very interested in history, and I think there I can see the history of not the big history, but the history of lifestyles, of people, of what they think, their all day life.
I think your goal is very clear. I mean, the last page.
Yeah. Sorry, it
not
will
the
take
last. I mean the first page.
the first one.
First one. Yeah. I think your goal is very clear.
Yeah. Thank you.
我说他的目的很清楚啊，为什么他会越觉得很危机、很困惑呢？
我想他应该是要把他自己的一些困惑讲清楚，让他也知道他要怎么样再切进这个 subject.
Maybe you should have more interview, talk, having a conversation with the villager.
I do that. I mean, I'm doing interviews with them, and also not so much. I mean, or interviews or just chatting. I think it's sometimes it's. I mean, I feel like it's also not bad that I cannot really talk much with them. I mean, there's the man on the top right. That is the village mayor, and when he sees me, he invites me for a tea. And then I sit with the family and we drink tea, and I don't. We cannot really discuss politics or something.
That's good.
And that's good, and that's maybe that's also that allows me maybe to focus on details with my eyes. If I can understand things more visually as a photographer instead of just understanding the words and the constant chatter. I mean, I feel like wherever I am, where people don't speak English or German or whatever I understand, that just makes me more aware to what I see. I don't know if anybody has made similar experiences.
有的时候是会这样，因为反而会让你用你的 instinct sensitive，
Yeah.
不会干扰 interrupt。
Yeah. I mean, sometimes when I'm in this environment, it feels, I'm there and nobody feels obliged to talk to me, or just say, okay, there's this guy taking photos.
Yes.
Let him do. And then I can sit there and I don't. If there's nothing happening and I don't feel like I want to take photos, I just drink a tea and I go home. But still, I feel like I have learned something. Sometimes it's put hard in words. It's hard to put in pictures, but it helps.
Maybe you should take a perspective as anthropologist.
Yeah.
Go there during the festivals or holidays.
I mean, anthropology, that sounds very much like learning something about exotic kinds of people sometimes. And
我是劝他说，那是不是可以像个人类学家去那边，从 I mean cultural from perspectives of culture to understand the villages.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm always doing that, but I'm not. I mean, there's a long history of Western men going to places in the world and learning and studying people and learning nothing.
我是建议说，他应该可以像个人类学家，用文化人类学的角度去看，那继续拍下去这样。因为他现在很严谨，他去到那个村庄里面，然后没有人要跟他讲话，然后他也不知道怎么办，然后就这边喝个茶就回家了。那很正常，所以要怎么办？
老师，那是他的优点，他要善用他这个优点。
什么优点？
因为他到那个村庄，不是每个人都听懂他在干嘛。
对。
当他两个听不懂陌生当中，你去观察这个陌生的东西，
他就看不到什么。
错了，用那种的角度去拍，因为我觉得他的作品就少了一点东西。
什么东西 ？OK。
好的少，就是好的少还是不好的少
OK，she say you
就像我们说的旁观者跟亲历者跟什么者的摄影角色的道理有点一样，可是这里他还没有成隐库，
什么什么？
还没有还没有把自己置身在这个里面，就差那么一点点，少了那一点味。
来，你解释。
Okay, so she thinks that you being an outsider is actually, in a way, an advantage for you. But also from your photos, she feels that she doesn't feel your presence in the body of work. But she's not saying this is bad or good. But she thinks that's what she senses. But I feel like my question would be, what kind of position you would want to be in? Do you appreciate kind of your being forced to be an outsider because of your kind of inability to really communicate with the language, and so you can see better? Do you kind of want to be in that state, or do you want to dive in deeper and understand more of the cultural context or something like that? Do you want to change your status?
I would say I would like to change my status in a way. But I think it would take to dive in and to become one whatever. That would take longer than this project. So the situation for me is as it is. If I like it or not, I can just take it as it is. And I can try. Sure, wherever I go, and there's something to understand, I try to understand. But at the same time, if I don't understand what people are talking about, then I can, if I don't understand what people speak, I can focus on how people speak, on how people relate to each other. This is what I can do. If I cannot understand everything, I can try to understand something. For example, in this
他们在讨论说，到底他是应该做个旁观者呢，还是应该更深入的进去他们的文化里面？可是他因为他语言的隔阂，他实在是蛮困难，要去完全了解他们。
老师善用他那个语言的隔阂，因为我是客家人，像很多我同学都喜欢找我到客家村，因为我可以直接跟当地的老人家 talking， 因为老人家其实他们这些都已经有一个年龄层了嘛。其实他们很孤寂，他们想要 talking 的对象没有，所以你会发现说，他们那些小狗小猫很开心。他这是你跟自己亲人跟自己的那宠物的地位都会不一样，这是为什么？因为它时代在变迁，这也是台湾的一个成长的一个过程史一样，就觉得说，其实他可以善用外国人，其实。你到那村庄，其实外国他听不懂你的讲什么，可是他很开心。其实老人家很开心，因为有人可以跟他接触。
She wants you to take advantage of you being foreign and people being comfortable around you because you actually can't understand them, and then that you're foreign, so they're think it's exciting to have someone different around.
Yeah, and I also think, for example, that somebody goes to a place and just takes there's nothing to see in a sense, and somebody goes there all the time and takes photos. It's almost strange. It's strange to many people. And maybe if a foreigner does that, it's kind of more acceptable. It's like, he behaves strange, but, well, it's maybe, he's a foreigner.
You're just a weirdo.
Yeah, in a sense, and they can easily say I'm a weirdo because maybe where he's from everybody's like that. Who knows? Also I wanted to say one more thing about understanding. On the top left corner, we see a man on the rooftop. It's now that people move out of these houses because they know, okay, in a couple of years or things will change anyway, or whenever somebody moves out, nobody else will move in. many of these buildings are used these days by immigrant workers, for example. In the around the village, there's already quite a lot of construction going on. Taipei will get this new circle MRT line. There is they're building they're building a big train depot here.
他说，因为那个台北要盖环状线，所以在那一块的地方，他们要有一个那个那个叫什么，就是列车的机场，在那块。
And this is, for example, built by a company from Thailand.
是一家泰国公司。
So it's I mean it's a I mean there are people who cannot understand each other anyway around. So I'm kind of like one of them.
就附近很多外劳，然后他其实就有点像其中的一份子。
不是一样吗？
对，可能因为我已经接触跟外国菲律宾
So is this the picture?
看10几年，
Yeah.
外星人，不是，是一个人啊。
对啊，这个照片，
是个人。
画现在这个照片在墙上。
Sorry，等一下。He has a question, but you answered that.
Okay, then I mean there are around the village there's a little bit farming done, and so she's doing some farming.
So we want to know that how long have you been taking these photos?
For more than 1 year.
就是大概1年多。
I mean, I go there. I mean, it depends. Sometimes I go there twice, 3 times a week, and then I don't go there for 2 months.
你刚刚问我看不懂他们那图片要说什么。
He doesn't quite get what you want to say from the photos. Is it because of all the crises?
Yeah, it's because it's unfinished.
不然 close 的照片不一定在这个村，可是在新竹有这张照片，在台南也可能会这样，因为它都是 close。
对啊，一个和平这个区域，
I don't have
台湾整个这个感觉这个缩影。 他觉得这一块小块土地有点像台湾的。
The thing is,
就
I
是
mean,
从这样的一个小地方发展到外面的一些大楼这样，所以就是比较像是。
可是我们看到图片，或者就是要求，
I don't know
也
when
没有其他照片，
nobody
但
really
是说
knows
在
when
close
as a
很
team.
小的照片，
And
就
as
做一
long
个
as I'm
拼凑，
here, as long as
那
I
三
have
张拼凑
time,
一张，比如像这个，
as long as I have the motivation,
这个我觉得
maybe one day I will say I don't want to do it
在
anymore.
改变。
But
我问题，如果他是用纪实摄影家或者是报道摄影家这个角度来看，我觉得他就是他是
他应该还有个过程。
打他，因为他没办法介入，他只能用很客观或者是很做的东西在做这个事情，所以他就像我们去拍一个城市到底是我要怎样来形容这个城市，因为我跟他没有感情，那我要用什么东西来做一个比较上的连接，就是找。所以我才问说他拍多久，他花多少时间在拍这个题目，他这个比例有多少连接？我的意思是这样，就是说我们有2张，可能有2张，可以看出来哦，这个环境地理位置在这，可是大看不到说这个东西的缩影，跟我们台湾人或是影像或是人物人事物这个连接，我看不到这个连接。
他有说他就是还在拍嘛。
我的意思是说，
你把重点翻译给他。
就我看到问题。
OK。
我就说，比如说我在媒体单，比如说你事业要介绍这个题目， 一个照片，这个我常在说，就是说，你有没有办法用2张照片来讲？你要说一件事情，还是说你用4页、15张照片来讲，你要说一件事情？这需要很长期的训练。这个跟思想跟你的论是没有关系，就是我们纯图像来看，那我看到图像真的都很强，这个都很强，它每张都很强，但是拼起来不知道说什么。
So would you like to know some feedback?
Yeah, sure, please.
Okay. So this gentleman here, he thinks that all of the photos, even though there are not quite a lot here that we're seeing, they're all quite visually. They're very like powerful visually. Okay. So, but in terms of the content, he feels that he knows that you're trying to make up your own narrative or collect some material for a story about Taiwan, about development, but he feels that he doesn't really, for example, if he looks at these 2 images, he knows that, okay, it's from Hoping because you told us, right?
Yeah.
But he thinks that they really look like it could be from anywhere in Taiwan. So what he doesn't see the particular geography or like the significance of the content from these images, but he understands because a subject like this needs a long time to develop. So that's why he was, first of all, he asked you how long have you been taking these photos, and then so he thinks that if you want to develop a series that is about a really big theme, such as what you're interested in, then it really needs a lot more images that could be connected together to kind of give a better context of this subject. Yeah. So.
I mean, I would agree with everything.
对啊，他同意你说的。
对啊，而且我觉得像那个人哦，像那个人，披头那个人，3张那个，
OK， 哦，
这个也是啊，你看他脸躲在后面，那这个也是下去修理东西，那这个东西，就是我看不到其他的人，就是说，如果你用人、土地、事件来做连接的时候，不是有看到这个老人家，这个老人家在做这个，他的地板。就是现有现物来解释，比如说这个人在好像帮他收件还是干嘛，后面有一些神明，就是我们传统的这种民间的信仰，就3张，这人的部分。
所以你觉得就是？
所以我觉得他看到他可以，如果这是一个小型的屏幕做写图，我碰到他那种连结的东西的。
OK， 是不是因为所有类型的照片都有一点还不够多？是吗？还是说？
所以他问题。
说人事，你说什么人事？
我现在是想帮他，不是在批评他。
哦，当然。
因为他说他出现这个问题，就好像我们去拍一个东西，我们开始的介入会去想这些事情，这个是目的论，就是说，那我拍这些东西我要干嘛？那你也会回头去问这些，就是刚刚老师说的，就是说你会回头去问这些关系 A B C D E， 你会去回头这些去学习这些东西，然后再从照片的地方去搜寻，再定义，然后再回去，这样就是你作品还有你被你设置是3角关系，重新再去定义这样的事情。那现在看到的就是说，比如说人，我看到就是这个人，所以我们感知到那人、土地、事件，他作品之间就是这样。我的意思是这样。
So basically, what he is concerned about, well, he said, first of all, he says he's not really criticizing you. He's trying to just give some
He's allowed
feedback.
I mean, I'm thankful for it.
Yeah, sure. And then I realized that a lot of the feedback that he's just given is related to what you are thinking about already. You know, because he thinks that he's seeing people, he's seeing events and like some actions or behaviors or like some landscape, but he feels like he wants to see a stronger connection between you and the work and the location, the people there, and the geography. But so I guess that would be the narrative you would be trying to construct, right?
Yeah. I mean, so. I think every every project needs some boundaries. in a sense.
计划都需要一个界限，一个疆界，一个计划嘛，你不可能无限制嘛。一直扩大，就是他说意思说他有一个界限，他的计划有个界限。
I mean, every project needs something to define a project. Like, for example, somebody can, for example, say, okay, I will go to Taiwanese expat communities around the world. Then he can go anywhere around the world, take photos. That would be a project that has no geographic boundary. My project so far only has a geographic boundary and says, okay, I will only go to this village. But then, what else defines my project is, well, there are ideas, but there's no coherent narrative. There's not this one story that I want to tell. I would need to observe the change of this place, and I mean it's not yet there, but I have to
no, that
stick
makes
to
a
it.
lot of sense. Yes, yes. And 他说，比如说有很多人做作品，他可能有一个主题，可是他那个主题是在任何的地点都可以做的。可是他的这一个系列很好玩的是，它只有地点，然后所以他现在他也还不清楚说，除了地点之外，什么东西是可以定义他的这个作品的，所以他其实也还在找那个东西。其实也就是跟你建议的很像。就是到底是什么东西把这些东西串起来，这样。因为他也只很清楚说，他只有一个地点，他现在就是在慢慢的把那些东西建构起来。
太冷的话，你自己讨论。
我还是很难。
像第一张嘛，第一张铺上，第一张然后跳到高谷，直接开始下。对，第一张很强，那个地形就很强，有迷惘有未来，然后呢力感就感觉，因为那张很强。然后他第二张就那个延伸上去就很空张图，跟像这个地方，然后后面就是零碎。他每张都很强，他其实他应该是有受过很多图像的训练。所以它图像都很精简，它图像很精简。另外一个也是一样，那个狗啊，那个妈妈那个狗，那三张也很强。还有另外一个是工人，那个都有裁切，如果他没有裁切，他很强。那个图像就是像我们以前在读美国那个图片裁切是一样的，那个图片编辑也是，就是每一张它的经营是很强的，它没有让你动的。对，那我们一般的。报道谁或是纪实谁，他不可能那么强，就是像这个，可能会在动或什么，因为这个是正常的需要的。包括我们拍黑白的照片，就是按我们再去洗也是一样。我觉得他这个想法是这样。你们是这个不用翻，
不用，
这个
也留不下来，
没关系，没有。
你们还有什么问题？这个是1楼。1楼。还有什么问题？
但是他最需要。对，所以他2、3张搭在一起。如果说这3张你搭起，那问你要怎么搭，你要做啥，帮你怎么做？这不能解释，因为图像如果就会这样去洗，因为这样讲的，问他再问他什么东西，但是那讲白就是他还没看进去。因为要时间，要很长，因为这个纪实报不用讲，因为要很长的时间，真的是这样。甚至他有一个程度要把自己完全推翻掉，这是必经之路这样。
I thought you know what you are doing. I mean, you said that in the very beginning. The process of modernization in Taiwanese society.
Yeah. But I mean, still that can take different shapes.
认真看你讲，你要讲是就是看到，这些影响。
But I mean, still, I feel like this is a topic that is still very wide.
Right. Yes.
And
你也会觉得冷。
yeah, I also still don't. don't know why I should do that as a foreigner, for example. I mean,
Nobody can answer that.
no. I mean, it's,
yeah.
I mean, I think, yeah. I mean,
他还是那也是他就是怀疑说，为什么一个外国人来到这个地方来拍这个东西呢？
I mean, what does my what about my perspective on things? Is the perspective itself
他的
somehow
观点是什么
changing something?
Yeah.
You cannot convince yourself. That no one can.
That's true. No, I mean, I just think that these are things that I mean, if somebody's doing a photo project for not a commercial one, but just something that working on something that is interesting. Maybe I'm not the only one who has to deal with that. I mean,
How long will you stay here?
Until I find a good reason to leave. And I haven't found a good reason.
You're welcome. Always welcome.
Thank you very much. No, I don't see it. I don't see any reason why I should leave anytime soon. So, and I mean, I also think, you know, as long as I'm here, I will keep thinking about this.
Well, in the meantime, keep thinking and keep shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't stop shooting.
And
Then
I
you will
mean,
find the answer.
who knows? Maybe in 5 years I will have something that I'm really satisfied with,
5 years.
or I don't know. Who knows? I'm just saying 5 years.
Excuse me. Do you still think you're taking pictures like a tourist, though you have been working on this project for about 1 year?
What do you mean?
Did you feel like you are a tourist? I mean, when you're taking a picture in Hebei.
It's good question. Very good question. I think sometimes people see me as a tourist. Maybe that helps me. But yeah, I'm trying very much not to do it like a tourist. I mean, if there's only tourist or local, these are the two alternatives. I'm not fully. I mean, I don't think I'm fully a tourist, but I'm also not fully a local.
我问他说，你拍照的时候有没有想到认为自己是观光客？然后他说他没有认为自己是观光客，也没有认为自己是在地人，就不觉得啦，不这样觉，没有这样觉得，就是半当中。
是可以问他一下，就是他有发现那里的美丽吗？会不会是因为他还不清楚？
你的美丽是什么意思？
就是不好意思，就是他有看到那里对他来讲吸引的地方，因为现在他只看到那个果，就是那里要变迁了，有个都市的计划，那里在改变。可是他有没有发现之前的美丽或者怎么样特殊的地方？
参与过程。可是美丽是什么意思？就是
美丽或是特色的地方，或者是人的互动、人的交流，或是那个村子哪里特殊这样子。
So she wants to know that. So now it's clear that you're seeing this place under transformation, right? It's like constantly changing, and that's one major reason that drew you to this place. But she's wondering whether, like, besides this factor, do you also see what is really she uses beautiful, but we asked her what she means by beautiful, and I think she means is the people and what is really actually going on there every day, and what is like characteristic about the place. Do you actually see them as much as you see the transformation?
It's also a very good question.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm something attracts me about the place, so I think it's also must be something beautiful about it. Yeah, but I mean, it's I think it's sometimes difficult to see the beauty in things you see a lot. And that's also the reason why I sometimes really take breaks from going there. I mean, I'm also taking breaks from going there because I think it would not benefit my project if I go there every day and then people would get really annoyed maybe.
再回答什么？好，你先翻译一下。
我用啊，他是说，就是有时候如果你太常看一个地方的话，你可能很难会真的去看到它的特殊之处或是它的美，所以他自己会拍一拍，他就会休息一段时间，然后再回去。然后他另外也觉得，如果他真的是每天都有一直去同一个地方一直拍的话，那边的人肯定会觉得他就是会觉得他有点烦这样子，所以他会有休息的时间。
Maybe you should do the practice. You know, my 24 hours in 和平。
I mean, I thought about moving there for a while. Moving in.
Good idea. I think that's a good idea.
I haven't done that yet, but that's still possible to do. But I mean, I think moving there and living there permanently and making this my life purpose right now. I honestly don't have. I don't see that this would. I mean, maybe that would. I would be too close.
Too close to the people.
Too close to this thing. I mean, I would only. I mean, I need to be able to not think about that for a week.
You want to keep some distance.
Yeah. I also have other things in my life to do sometimes.
So are you doing other projects?
Nothing long term. I mean, that's my only long term project. Permanent project.
这是目前他唯一在做的一个长途计划。OK， 好 ，Any questions？ 有任何问题吗？其他问题？志祥。Okay, so you have a question for us?
1 million questions. No, yeah, that's not a question, but once again, thank you for allowing me to speak.
Okay, then we're going to take a break.